I'm ready, Anthony.
All right, we're good to go.
Let's wrap it up. Go ahead, get started.
All right, guys, thank you so much for attending our wonderful damage control. Anthony Angelillo, branch manager with the TAG team. Been in this business for about 17 years. Those that do not know me, thank you for following. Thank you for joining our community. And we're having these meetings prior to COVID-19, but Melinda, myself used to have a lot of events. We still will have those events, God willing, this is over. But this is our way to try to give back and to control all the damage that goes on in our wonderful, wonderful world called real estate. So we alleviate
or prevent the damage.
Prevent all of the wonderful damage that happens. But we've overcome some good scenarios and recently some nice closings. So this is our way to share the content. There's some valuable content at the end of this episode. So those of you that attend, please put your comments on the bottom, and there's a chat box available there. And yes, you'll get a recording, and yes, you'll also get any content that comes with that show. Okay, so that being said, I'll leave it to Melinda.
Hi, everyone. Melinda Grimaldi, your real estate and title attorney, and we are on, what episode is this, Anthony?
Episode 8.
8. So damage control is picking up some speed. We're coming along nicely. We have some pretty cool things coming up for the future weeks. So stay tuned for that. We'll share some of those announcements later. But I'm so happy to have the co-owners of Max Home Inspection here today. Inspections are obviously a big part of our process, and it's something that we can't ignore as realtors, title lending. It's something that could either make or break the deal. So I love when I do events with them. They have this amazing rule or saying. And I always mess it up, so I'm gonna have Shawn explain it. But I'm gonna have them introduce themselves, talk a little bit about their company, and then we'll just have a really cool conversation about some things that they have cooking and some things that we want to share with you guys. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Silvia with Max Home Inspections. And I'm going to let Shawn do most of the technical talking. My role in the company is really a lot of behind the scenes and operations and systems, which I know we'll touch upon today. But we've grown our company in the last 5 years to pre-crisis. We were just under 50 employees, including over 20 inspectors all throughout the state. We cover Orlando and Tampa all the way down to the Keys. So it's been a really, really fun ride to build this business.
Awesome. So are we paused or what are we doing now?
No, we're not at all.
You guys are full speed ahead, right?
We're busy. We're definitely down. I mean, the numbers are down across the board everywhere. But from even last week to this week and going into this upcoming week, it's already going back up. So that's a really good sign for the industry.
Same here, actually. Somebody has Facebook open with a volume.
Yeah.
Who's got that cooking? Is it you guys? Anyone here on the call that's not muted? Who's not muted? Me. I think it stopped now, so we can go ahead. Awesome. That was weird. I heard an echo. Cool. So we'll get into more of the nitty gritty, but Shawn, why don't you introduce yourself formally?
I'm Shawn with Max Home Inspections. You met my boss already in life and work. And we're just here to serve you guys and, make your life easier. And a lot of the stuff we do was questions. Hey, how do we do this? How do we do that? And we're like, hey, we can make that happen for you guys. We can make your life easier. We can make the process more simple. And one of the things that has already been brought up, which Melinda mentioned, is the rule that she always likes to talk about, which I'm kind of upset she doesn't have it memorized at this point. It's the 3 Ds. What a home inspection is: damage, danger, and defects.
Hold on, let's say that again. Damage,
danger,
and defects. Damage is it messed up? Is it broken? Danger, does it pose a problem to somebody? Can somebody get hurt from this? And a defect, was it installed improperly? Is it just bad? Is it the wrong year and it doesn't match up somehow? Did they install it upside down? Stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff we look for.
Awesome. I love that. And that's great to be able to set up the right expectations when we're speaking to our clients. So it's super, super important. And we'll get into expectations and things like that in a little bit. So, okay, let's first get we already kind of started talking about it. Let's just get it out of the way. You guys are still open and operational, of course, right? Like all
Absolutely.
of us, everyone in real estate right now, we're trying to do as much as we can. So tell us a little bit about how this shift has happened before we get into normal real estate stuff.
The shift, I mean, it came quickly, but really and I think we've all heard it, the pivot and being able to just react as quickly as we could. Basically, at our office, we have only about 60% of our team is out in the field inspecting and marketing, promoting, and the rest of it is in the office, which is our schedulers, our admins, our support staff. So all of that was Monday the 16th. And we were actually planning Q2, like that's what our leadership team was out to do that day. But that weekend we saw what was happening. So we honestly picked up, our technical team spent the day at between Walmart and like Best Buy getting laptops. We got everybody set up. And that by that afternoon we were working from home. Everybody took a little bit to get used to it. I think because they're just used to seeing each other and they're like, but I want to be in the office. We got to working from home without skipping a beat. And so far, other than just the slowdown that we've seen, it really nothing's changed. Our systems were there in a way that we were able to just pick it up, put it somewhere else, and keep going.
Cool. Do you guys use any kind of internal communication system? Like we use Slack now at the office. What do you guys use? I know Anthony's
a Slack. We have to be in communication with amongst ourselves, both in the office, like while we're scheduling and dispatching, almost if you will, to the inspectors, and then we're also in touch with the inspectors a lot. So we actually just use Google Hangouts. We use a Google Office suite, and we use Google Hangouts. We have different groups, and then we can also have individual conversations that don't take them away from their email and then another browser.
Yeah, and every morning I have a kickoff call with the marketing team, and we have a Zoom call at 8:45 in the morning every single day, even Saturday and Sunday, because what we notice is the fact that they just have somebody to talk to even on the weekends, even though life is crazy, everybody feels better about that. So we've kept everyone's spirit high. Hey, we're excited about this. And on the weekends, it's less business. Some of them tell us some things, but it's like, hey, here's what I did. I'm fixing my house. I painted a room. I mowed the grass. Hey, awesome, victories. All right, see you guys tomorrow. And it's good just to stay in contact with your people when you're not near them anymore.
That's awesome. Yeah, we started implementing daily. What do we do? What do we call it? A daily, wait, hang on a second.
Like a huddle?
A daily huddle. I don't know what. Today, my brain is not 100% on point.
Monday,
yeah. Something. Maybe it was too much.
We have our leadership team meetings where every Monday. That hasn't stopped. So our leadership team still meets on Monday. At the beginning of this, a couple of weeks ago, we were actually meeting multiple times a week, just how quickly things were changing. But we still meet every Monday. So, and the first couple of weeks, like we have a very strict agenda. I know, Melinda, me and my systems. So that was a little, we weren't as strict about it, but now we're back to like, this is how we do it and everything like that. But just always being in touch and having that open communication, because so many things are changing. So many things are, quickly changing, but then they're also out there hearing other things that may not be interpreted correctly or just up for whatever their wild imagination is. So it really allows us to be on the same page with everybody.
Yeah, for sure. So how have actual inspections changed?
Nobody's really showing up to them anymore. First, we're encouraging people not to show up. Everybody's scared out there. There's fear all around. There's a lot more people just not showing up at all. I would say 80% minimum just don't show up at all when we're there. They show up at a later time, which is way different because we like interacting with people. We want to sit there and be your friend. We want to talk to you. We want to explain things to you. We want you to ask questions. So what we did in our process, and we're going to probably move this forward, is we're doing a one-on-one call with people after to go over line by line on the report. Hey, I just want to go over this. Did you know about this? Did you know about this? Because we don't want people to ever go, well, my inspector didn't tell me that, especially now that we're not there. Or we can't go show it to you in person. We're like, hey, go to picture 45. This is this. Here's what you can do about this. Here's how you handle that. So we've changed our system a little bit to account for this, and we really like the results. People are liking the hand-holding more, so it's giving us more time with them that they didn't have before. So we're using this to our advantage to learn and try new things.
Awesome. I like that.
Showing up, we're following all the CDC recommendations, PPE, all that kind of thing, but really just encouraging no one to show up. If there are, sometimes the buyers will show up at the end, but they'll really just wait in their car, and maybe they'll go in after the inspector, things like that. We'll make sure that the sellers, aren't home for that long, and just that kind of, everybody's being a little extra cautious.
Yeah, we got all of our guys certified for COVID-19. There was a certification. We started teaching it to realtors so they have a better way of communicating with their clients, of the processes, of the things they can wear, what they should do, how close they can get to people. A lot of the stuff is stuff you've heard on the news, but there's a lot of other detailed information. And it also allowed an opportunity for us to learn about decontamination. You may have heard about the new process that we have to decontaminate homes in a couple of hours, which is pretty cool. It allows sellers and buyers to, before you move in, to decontaminate it, after showing, so you can let people have showings in your house, decontaminate it and feel comfortable going back home. So there's other things that we've done with this, where we help educate people and have a new process to help them further.
And what are some of the things, Shawn, that you guys are doing?
With what part?
Decontamination and setting the house for proper expectations for the client, or?
So we built a couple of classes. One's called COVID-19. Actually, no, it's called
Protecting your
client, yourself and your deal against COVID-19. We do that every Monday. I think they do that one at 2:00 on Mondays. We do it in Spanish because we have a lot of people that can only listen in Spanish. And we have a class about decontamination, about the whole process, how it works. It's about a 40-minute class. And it teaches you the whole process so people can understand what it is that gets done, which is pretty amazing. So we have these ozone machines now, and we run them for a couple of hours inside of the house, and it's called ozone shock. Nice. And it's really cool because it kills bacteria, it kills viruses. It even gets rid of smells. Like if you had terrible cooking smells in your house you could never get rid of, it'll get rid of it. It can get rid of smoke smells. This is the kind of stuff they do at hotels and stuff when people smoked in the room and they needed to get rid of that smell so they could rent to the next people. It's a very similar process, and it's very quick and efficient. And after 3 hours, 4 hours, you guys go back home and it's clear. And part of the training is, of course, once you go back in, it's no longer sterile because you can bring stuff back into the home. But if you know that you guys are safe, you don't have to worry anymore. And it's a pretty quick process.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we have a whole that gives a lot of information so that people can actually learn a lot from this.
Awesome. So afterwards, you probably have some upcoming trainings and stuff. So send us the link and we'll send it out to our list so that they can get in on that if they're interested. Definitely. I love that. Okay. So we're COVID-19 ready. We're still in operations. Everything's still going as best as we can be. Things have been picking up. I've noticed that too. Actually, Silvia and I, we spoke about this last week, how the first week of April was eerily quiet.
Yes.
But the second week started to pick up, and things are just moving along with that. And I think that with time we'll all get back to normal, whatever that is and however that is. And star appearance, Max is there. For those of you that don't know Max, that's their son.
Sorry about that.
He just did a star appearance again, so I love it. So Silvia,
yes.
Let's see what we got cooking here. We have a little mini agenda, nothing too crazy, but I'm gonna pull it up right now so we can start asking you guys a few other questions. But we'll start talking about systems. So Anthony and I talk about systems all the time, so I know that's your jam. We've had a lot of conversations about this, and I know that you guys have really been able to scale your business and grow your business through systems. So why don't you tell me, elaborate on that a little bit for everybody.
Yeah, so definitely, I mean, not only have we've grown in a relatively short amount of time. And I want to say it was probably about 2 years ago now that I had my breakdown. And I mean, if you're growing a team, if your business just is exploding or is just consistently growing, there's going to come a point where I had my meltdown. I was like, I can't handle it anymore. I'm a control freak, I'm a perfectionist. I have to do it all. And it came to a point where after a meltdown, I was like, I can't do this by myself. So relax, next day, sleep it off. I'm like, well, how do I still control it all? And that's where, by educating me, I was like, systems, like if there's systems in place, I don't have to control it all, but it's still going to be done my way. Or the right way, without me having to be the one to do it. And there's a lot to that. I mean, it's the right people doing it, because you might have the best systems in the world. If your team isn't following through and if they're not trained to, So we actually run the business on EOS, which is it's called the Entrepreneurial Operating System. There's a lot of information about it out there, but any system that you're using that works for you. And you don't have to be me. I know all my numbers by heart. You don't have to know them, but as long as you're tracking them, you're reporting on them every week at our LT meeting, at our leadership meeting, we go through our numbers. We see what our ratios are, how many calls came in and how many of those did we actually book into inspections, everything like that, how many classes did we teach, how many times are we in front of agents, how many new agents used this that week. And that's new to us. They might be a seasoned agent, it might be a brand new agent. It's the first time that they're using us. And on the buyer side, but we're also tracking our sellers agents and our listing agents. It's just really knowing everything. We rank our inspectors, making sure that they're tip top shape on their continuing education, on their report writing, all of that. It really is the only way we were able to take that next step is by finally letting go of some of it. Now I have people on my team who do things so much better than I do because they're the expert, but it's still systems, and we're always looking at them and reevaluating them every quarter. We're like, well, what needs to be worked on? And a big part of it is, well, this is how we've always done it, doesn't cut it. And if that's ever an answer to a question, that's right there, a huge red flag. We stop and we're like, wait, that needs to be analyzed right now because that's not okay. We can't just support what we've always done.
So with a lot of the agents, some of them do have teams and assistants or transaction coordinators, but what would you say would be the benefit for an individual agent to implement systems, even if it's just themselves to get started? And what kind of systems would you think?
This is the same conversation that I have with my mom, who's one of our top agents. She's top 1% every year at her company. And I go, why aren't you the number one agent? And it always comes the same thing. Every time I watch her do something, it drives me crazy. She does it different every single time. And I say, you should get somebody to help you. Well, I can't, I do it very special that way. You do something different than every other 100,000 realtor out there? No, it's got to be this way. We'll write it down. She's never written anything down. So I can't even go and help her. If she wanted help, I couldn't help her. Nobody in the world can help her. So if you don't have a system, you can never get help. That's the first step. And then if you ever wanted to take a vacation, the answer is no, you can't take a vacation. So if you like never having a vacation in your life, don't systematize. And some people like myself, I love working. I don't know what to do if I'm not working. But the day you're like, okay, you know what, I want to go to the pool, and the answer is you have work to do, what do you do then? So by having it systematized, you can pay somebody, and this is the conversation I've had with multiple realtors. You can pay somebody $12 an hour to get some work done while you go to the pool with your kid, your family, spend some time, go on a vacation for the afternoon, go shopping. If you don't have these processes in place at the minimum, you never have the option to do those things.
Yeah, and it's a big thing. It's always doing it the same way.
Right.
I think even more so when we talk about having these systems, even for ourselves, if you're working on something that you do over and over again as an individual, even if that's something that you're responsible for, that you're not outsourcing, it's allows you to do the same thing each time, because there's only so much we can keep in our head. There's only so much that we can, when we have multiple things coming at us, which is everybody here, how can you make sure that you're doing the same level of service or the same level of quality of work or the same productivity when you don't have a way to do that all the time because you just are flying by the seat of your pants? So
it really gives you that certainty that you did it, because we have, at this point, I don't do inspections, but I'll get a phone call and they're like, the inspector did this. And I can say, no, he didn't, because that's just not what we do, or that's just not what we say. And I can say that with certainty because I know that this is our system. This is what they've been trained. If it really sounds, I could look into it, but I know what they're doing and what they're not. And even if it's for yourself, you're like, oh, did I forget that one thing? Because one thing is a list of 15 steps. So if you know that you did it, then you know you did it, because this is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's not just like, oh, wait, maybe I missed one because I did in a different order than yesterday.
Here's the bottom line is that it holds accountability to all parties associated with the business. And that's what I've learned. And that I'm a control freak. Anyone that knows me knows that I want things done properly. But I'm only as good as me, and I can only reach limits to a certain expectation if I don't have systems, right? So systems for us allow us to put accountability back on the real estate agent, the inspector, the appraiser, the title attorney, whomever's turn it is to actually come to, the fight here. They're ready to battle, and they're going to get that done in a timely manner, or you can analyze to see if they didn't get it done in a timely manner. So now your accountability is there, and that brings constructive criticism. So you can say, okay, how do we get better? How do we speed up this? Melinda was telling me that, Silvia, you know your numbers inside and out. Talk to us about your numbers, because we're impressed that you know all of these numbers. And how do you know them? Is it because of systems?
So you don't have to have the memory that I have. I mean, it really is like a personal thing where I can just remember things very well. And I don't expect everyone on my team to know that, but I do expect everyone to be able to run the report and figure out the number and present it to me if we need it. We have a scorecard that we go through every single week, every single Monday at our leadership team meeting, and it's broken down by department and then the top 3 numbers in that department. So for example, on our client care, which is our scheduling call center, how many calls came in, how many of those were scheduled, and what percentage does that look like? And I know that at any given time, and then what is our baseline? So we should be scheduling 75% of the calls that come in. Those should be being scheduled as inspections. Right now, we're down. We're somewhere between 73, 74%. Is it, at that point, that's our red flag. Is it that the market's just down? There's a lot more price consciousness going on. There's just a lot, or is it we're also getting a lot more cancellations because there's things going on with financing, so things outside of our control. But if we scheduled it and it was canceled for whatever reason, we hold that on us. So we had a cancellation, that brings down our percentages. So I have to sit in and listen to some of the calls for the call center, make sure that because they're home, that they're still doing the script, that there's all of that. It really comes down to, and it's a work in progress. So what are your numbers? And what are those things that are going to really affect the business, and those leading versus lagging indicators? By the time also that I get, those numbers at 73% of our, as our booking ratio, that's too late. I need to know what we're doing on the front end. So how many more calls, how do we make the phone ring more? If that's what our, percentage is right now, for whatever reason it is. So it's really just not only knowing your numbers, but what drives your numbers.
It can help raise the flags ahead of time, so you can go, what can I do to fix it today? Instead of going, wow, this turned out bad, what did I do wrong? So you can get a head start on it.
Yeah, for sure. Or even, we talked about this in our sales workshop and all. It's like knowing your numbers, because if you know it takes you this many calls to get this many appointments, to get this many listings, to get this many closings, then if you're not doing this many calls right now, you're going to have a problem in 60 to 90 days, because that's when the numbers now will be reflected on what you're doing.
And is it 60 or 90 days? We know what, and if we forget, the crisis on everything that's going on, we know what our growth is like and what our capacity is like. So if our inspectors can do 15 inspections a week, and we're booking them out, and we check our percentages, and there's times that we're running at 95% capacity, those inspectors are doing, they're working really hard. And if we have, we grow more as we expand it to a different area, or something, if we get more calls, our percentages might be down on the booking just because we're losing the inspections. So we don't have the availability that, agents are used to having from us. They're used to calling us and, within the next day, the day after that. But all of a sudden we're booked out because we didn't, and that goes back to just like our recruiting, like everything ties it into itself. And if you don't have those red lines and those red flags, and that's what those numbers are, then you're always putting out fires rather than like strategically building and just growing that way.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to switch our gears from systems, because we could probably talk about systems forever. But I do want to talk about inspections, right? So
we do.
So talk a little bit, we spoke about the 3Ds and that, like what they mean, what you're looking for, but how can an agent kind of put that out to their buyer before they order the inspection, or when they talk about the inspection process, to make sure they have the right expectations?
So we have a couple of things that realtors can do. One, we have a class called Certified Protection Expert that trains realtors on how to educate their clients when it comes to inspections, so they can train their clients the right way. Because nothing's worse than setting the expectation wrong for a client and the client being mad at you because somebody else did something different, right? So that's one of the hardships that people run into, and we can train realtors so that they understand the process better, and they can train their clients so their clients don't come to them upset that it didn't go the way they thought it would. So that's one of the things that we're doing to really help realtors out there, and it's been huge success for people. The other thing is on our website, www.maxhomeinspections.com. You go on there and there's a video that you can watch of what an inspection is, and I think it's like 3 to 5 minutes. We were actually on TV, which was Lifetime Television. They filmed a full inspection and they cut clips of it and they made it like the important parts. So you can kind of watch it in 5 minutes and go, oh, I think I kind of understand what an inspection is. And the realtors that are sharing that with their buyers, they walk in and they already know what's going on. And in fact, some of them start reading off the script to us because it was in the video. They're like, oh yeah, that's the $25,000 in protection we get. And it's really interesting, or they expect the popcorn ahead of time, like simple things like that. Of course, we don't really have those interactions during this COVID-19 phase, but it's a short period of time. Things like that gives your client so much more information that they come prepared to the inspection and they understand the questions to ask and simple things like that.
Awesome. I love that. Sorry, go ahead, Silvia.
We do our best at educating, on that phone call, when we send out emails also to the seller's agents, and it's things that, because there's so many parties involved, so making sure that the sellers are also aware of the things that we need access to. So it's just really just setting those expectations for everyone. The buyer is always the one we think of primarily, but the seller and the homeowner or the tenant, their expectations, a lot of times are like, don't worry about that. And we're like, no, but let's just inspect it. And, so that kind of thing is just letting everyone know.
So I've heard you guys speak about before the pre-listing or the inspections. Don't you guys do that as well, right? Or you have a program regarding that? Why don't you talk about that? I like that idea.
You want to talk about it?
Go ahead.
All right, so we have this program which we put together called the Pre-Listing Inspection Program. The funny thing is it has nothing to do with the inspection. It has everything to do with marketing for a real estate agent. Because when we do the inspection, the opportunity is already over for the real estate agent. So everybody already knows when somebody does an inspection, the price of a house never goes up after that point, right? I mean, how much can we lower the value of a house here? These things that get repaired, stuff like that. So the idea is bringing it up front so that you can declare everything and go, okay, we know that they can't find anything else and negotiate the price down, so we're already ahead of the game. The point is to add value to a real estate agent. The work that gets done just happens to be an inspection, but that's almost irrelevant because it's really a marketing proposition for the agent. We like to call them unique selling propositions, USPs. So a lot of realtors don't have a lot of things that make them special from any other realtor. Like, hey, what do you do that's different than that guy? Oh, well, I've been in the business for 50 years, I did my CEs this year. I'll be at every barbecue you have. I'm always going to be there. I don't use a Supra. That's what most people say. But the purpose of this is saying, if I do this, my process, which I never even tell the seller what it is. Just say, I have a marketing process that gets your home sold quicker. It gets rid of the negotiations. It gets rid of the hassles. If anything breaks in your house before closing, it's covered under warranty, so you don't have any out-of-pocket expenses. And I mean, the list goes on. There's like 10 points. So you already have something written down and go, here's what I'm going to do for you. And the point is, some realtors go, okay, well, I'm going to make sure my seller pays for that. That's removing the value of the realtor. I tell the realtor, the best thing you can do is say it's yours, you buy it, and then you share it with everyone that comes in the door. Hey, here's my report on the house. The house has a 5-year guarantee on the roof. It has a warranty on the appliances, on and on and on, all the value of the home. And put the signs out front. People start going, what do you mean this house comes with a 5-year guarantee on the roof? So it lets people talk about things more. And at the end, the number one question I get, well, what happens if they walk away from me? Well, listen, if that happens, if for any reason you don't sell this house, it either gets cancellation or expiration of listing contract. If there's any other ways that it fails, let me know and it'll be covered. We just refund you 100% of whatever you spend on our inspection. Our inspection is the technical, it's the boring part that makes all of it work. But again, that's the least important factor of this entire thing. Because when we come back, we're going to hand the report to the seller's agent. We're going to be like, here you go. The seller's agent is working with one of 3 sellers. The people who love their house, who want to pass on the greatest thing in the world to the next people, they're going to fix everything and everybody's happy. Great. I love those people. The people that go, I don't want to fix it. I don't have the money. I can't. Okay, no problem. Here's the broken whatever. We're giving X dollars at closing to cover that. Right? So what's the point of an inspection? And then the people that go, I don't want to fix anything. I really don't care what you find on this. We deal with those people all the time too. In that case, it's, hey, we know this is wrong and we're not giving you a credit. So buy it, take it, leave it. We don't care. Don't come with your inspector and say you want a credit on it. You're not getting it. So by disclosing it all up front, how can anyone come to you and say, you didn't tell me, I want a discount on this? Like, hey, that's the deal. You're presenting all of it first. There's no negotiation after. Or there's very minimal, usually, very minimal. So you look like the hero as the listing agent rather than the person who's reacting to the punches coming from the buyer's agent side. So it's one of those things that's a game changer. And as much as I love people to do it, many agents don't. So if you do it, you're a hero out there and nobody else is going to be competing against you.
And what is it called again? Unique what? What's the?
Unique selling propositions. It's a marketing term that makes you different than other people.
Value, guys. There it is. You want to know how to scale your business. There it is right there. That's value prop. What is your value proposition as a real estate agent? It's awesome. Awesome.
Give it to you.
Yeah.
Genius.
And we make it in a way that it's a no lose for you. You either sell the house and get a beautiful commission, which these days is what, like 10 grand? That's not bad. At a cost of a couple $100. And if it doesn't work out, you get your couple $100 back. So we make it really simple.
It's almost a no-brainer.
Right. But where people miss out, it's marketing. It's before you ever get in the house. It should be, here's what I'm going to do for you. It shouldn't be, hey, now that I have your listing. If you already have the listing, who cares? You can do it. It's great. But the whole purpose we built it is so that you can market and get more opportunities.
Turn it into part of your listing presentation and your listing system.
Right.
System, right?
Systems.
We actually, we had Natalie last week and she has her system is pretty down. It's not like a huge built out like high tech system, but she has her whole package and her system, her routine.
I love that.
I really liked it.
How many people asked you for the action plan?
A lot.
A bunch, right? Yeah.
I'm like, we need to start automating these.
It's already in the works. Systems.
More systems. Systems for more systems, for sure. I love it. I love it. Let me check our questions here because I think we had one or two more points. Anthony, take over while I check our thing here.
All right, let me take over here. Let me just go back. So Shawn, here's my dilemma. As a lender, I get random inspectors and inspection companies that sometimes sabotage the deal. I had a recent inspector, and sometimes, we can't really force place people to use certain companies. But that being said, this inspector said there's possible termites. So either there's termites or there's not termites. You know what I mean? But you just opened up a can of worms, man, and now there's possible termites. There's possible mold in the state of Florida. You know what I mean? Like, what's the possibility there's a no termite? So how do you prevent that? Do you talk to your inspectors? And we don't want them to obviously sabotage the deal. They want to do their due diligence and inspect the home properly. But is there training? Is there a delivery method?
Perfect question. This is a very easy answer with this. Find somebody who's licensed. If they're licensed for termites, there's no possible termites. The reason
that it was written that way probably on the report is because they're not licensed. They don't have their termite license, which is a complete different license than the home inspector license. It doesn't go through DVP like the license, like your home inspector license does. It goes through the Florida Department of Agriculture because there's pesticides involved and other things, whether you're doing actual pest control and termite treatments or not. So they are not legally allowed to say there are termites. That's why they put it there.
Yep. So that's
so it's
makes sense.
Wow, that's because now you're opening up a Pandora box. You're opening up, the buyers now doesn't have peace of mind, so they don't know if they should buy.
Now you're going to have to call a pest control company, a licensed termite pest control company, to pay whatever their inspection fee is to go out there and actually give you that report, which with us, by the way, you get on every single family home inspection. You get a general inspection report, a 4.0 wind mitigation for your insurance, and your wood destroying organism report, which is your termite report. The Florida, document that you need for closing for VA loans, for, other different lenders. You get that automatically with every bundle single family home inspection that we do, because we're one of the very few companies in Florida that is licensed to do pest control and termite inspection.
There you go. Yeah, this was a VA deal. This was a VA deal, and that makes sense. And it's just like, these comments that they make, so I'm assuming it's for roofs, too, possible roof leak. If they're not a certified roofer, they're not going to know that, right? Or
truthfully, again, it's you either have a roof leak or you don't. So I don't know where they go possible. If it's possible, they didn't check it out. Like, it's binary, right? Your car has tires or it doesn't.
I love
so why is there always such like a gray area in a lot of these inspection reports? Is it because
when it comes to like termites?
Well, termites, we know why, because they're not licensed, right? They
Right.
can't really confirm or deny it in that way. So they just do a catch-all probably to cover their ass, right? Excuse me.
Yeah, which by the way, is still not allowed. It's still not allowed by the Department of Agriculture. If they write WDO or termite on a report, they get pretty serious fines if somebody turns them in.
Really?
By the way, it takes a minimum of 4 years to get the termite license. We went through a lot of work to get that license. It is very difficult to get and keep, and it's expensive and a lot of work.
That's great. That's value proposition right there.
Right.
There you go.
So some guys, so the issue that comes up where like, oh, the inspector wants to ruin my deal. I never throw any inspector under the bus, because the first question I always ask, well, is the condition of the home actually that, right? But usually what throws the deals off is how they talk about it, because we talk about it as a very matter of fact, like it is this, it is that. Other people have this crystal ball. They go, well, one day in the future, there will be a giant hole in this roof here and it'll cost you $10,000. And they make up scenarios that could happen, but that aren't matter of fact. And that's usually where it goes wrong.
Yeah.
So our reports are here's the condition today. In the future, things can happen, but that's not what today is. A report is today. Today, there's no roof leak. Today, there's no termites. Today, there's no water leaks. That's what we're looking for.
Setting the proper expectations. Really setting the proper expectations, but also on the report. Now, do you have you ever hired any combative inspectors that want to do it their way or the highway?
They don't make it past the first day of training.
They don't make it past the interview. I mean, our interview system process is very extensive, and then they go on to training, which is even more rigorous. But so much of our entire team, inspectors, but anyone on our team, is a huge personality hire. I mean, all of our team members and employees, they take a personality test, they take a DISC profile when they're being hired, and we have our like core values, which we internally call our max keys. And those are just those personal attributes that everyone has to kind of have. And they're things that it's a personality thing. It's ingrained in you. So we're not going to be able to train it. So we're not going to be able to, you can't be part of our team if you're not, like helpful to the extreme and customer obsession, which we totally stole from Amazon, but that's what it is. So if they don't follow our max keys from just day one, they're not going to be a fit, because that's what's going to happen. We need people on our team, and when we hire our inspectors, it's someone that they're going to care so much about that home, whether it's their third inspection of the day or, their very first one. They understand that, what we work is that everybody deserves a home, and that, home with the roof leak is somebody's future home, it's somebody's current home. And that's really what allows them to visualize that it's not just another transaction for us.
And the interesting thing is when she said our entire process is designed to personality hire, this came into place when she said she had her breakdown 2 years ago. We needed people to do the jobs. We didn't have places to put them on the counter. We were needed. And there's this one person, I mean, it's happened more than once, where we just kept making an exception for him. No, we need him. He's really good. He gets the job done. He's just a jerk, but he does a great job. I'm sure everyone has had this before. We make an exception for that one guy because we need him. Well, months went by, and then guess what? We should have just gotten rid of him and lost the revenue, versus having to deal with all the problems he created and pissed people off from not being the perfect person to begin with.
Amen.
Whenever you make an exception to that system, no, I need them because otherwise I have to do this and I have to do that. Forget it. It was not only did I fight with her over this for months over
and
this.
Mitch, they both had it out. I had it out for both of them.
But you look back and you go, if I just got rid of them, none of the problems I have now would even exist. So once we learned that, we went through and we did a personality profile on everybody in the company. And we found one person who's, instead of the personality profile like going like this on the chart, it went like that. Fired them. Done. We're like,
I honestly think that happens to a lot of individuals that are trying to start a team. They feel so vested with that individual. They have a connection with that person, and they don't want to fire that person because they're doing the wrong thing. But if they're going left and you guys, the team's going right, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. That's great that you said that. That goes back on team building, Melinda, with Clinton that we talked about.
Yeah. We talk about rowing the life raft. You know, you get on the life raft and you need to row this way to live. And if one person's rowing that way, you might not make it. So he's got to go.
Push him off the raft.
I love Shawn's analogies. He paints the pictures.
Yeah, thanks, Shawn. I've been walking the tightrope for years now.
We got Bob over here making his own damn templates. No templates, Bob. It's this way.
And we always tell people when they have great ideas, don't just do whatever your idea is. Write it down, show us the process, show us the system, bring it to us, and let's figure out if we can make it work. Don't just go try it. If you then get approval to try it, then we can try it. But we want to make sure that we understand the process, we know what's going on, and we want people to bring us ideas. And we even encourage our team to fail. We let them know, listen, you can't learn to ride a bike without falling. Go try this, and if you fail, let's talk about it. Let's bring that experience back and upgrade.
Yeah.
We have a comment on Facebook, the best bosses ever.
It's a big family. And, you know, that also, by the way, like if you're growing your team and you might have never been a boss before and you might have never been able to do this. When you have a system, hey, I didn't tell you you did it wrong. The system told you did it wrong.
Right.
For sure. And you know what? As you grow, you have to keep changing your systems, keep bettering, you know, your own systems and your own self to be a leader, right? So I know that for me, it's been.
And that's how you make leaders too.
Yep, within your system, within your teams, right? Like to help you, for sure. Absolutely, I love it.
This series, Melinda, damage control, we're constantly changing things. We got to do this. We got to do that.
Constantly have new ideas. Every week we're changing. Like we're trying to systemize this because now it's turning into something more continuous, and that it's growing. So. We don't want it to take over. We still got to close deals, right? So we got to create systems.
When it's not you doing it, we have people on the call who they've gotten multiple inspections from us, and they might have never. You might have a favor, but they might have never seen the same inspector twice. They should have still gotten the exact same experience.
We have a question here. My sister is studying to become an inspector. What advice would you give her?
Great.
First is, what does she want? Does she want to run her own business, do marketing, wear all the hats? A lot of people don't like that, or they think they do until they start. The next question is, if they want to be an employee, how much do they want to earn? How much do they want to work? What kind of benefits are they looking for? And then just make sure when you're looking to work for someone, you ask those questions. Hey, do you offer these benefits? Like, we're one of the only home inspection companies in the country that has health insurance. That has a 401k, that has these benefits. They can offer PTO even, like, who even has PTO these days?
Everyone.
There we go. It's ask those kinds of questions. How much do you want to work? A lot of people come in and they go, I want like 3 jobs a week. And I go, no way, can never hire you. If you don't want to work 48 hours in a day, like you're not the person for our company. So you want to make sure that going into a job or asking for, hey, I'd like to work for you. Make sure it fits what you want to do. Because if you only want to work one job a day, 3 hours a day, 5 hours a day, I want extra beer money, whatever it is, make sure that you're going into that. Otherwise, like there was a guy who I would have loved to have him as an inspector, but he goes, I make this at my job. I only want to do this to earn an extra $400 a week. So he would never make a good inspector for us because we want people to work nonstop, to have top of the line training, top of the experience.
It's very similar to when new realtors come in and they're interviewing brokers. Do you want to be part of a team? Mm-hmm. Do you want to just do this part-time? Do you want to grow this but by yourself? Whatever it is. So that's kind of what we all have to take into account. I think it's very similar in any sort of real estate industry profession.
For
Shawn, I have another question for you.
Absolutely.
First time I met you at Women's Council, I was speaking at Women's Council, and I was talking to everyone in the audience saying that you have to have a value proposition. And right after, and this was, free appraisal or, settlement closing fee, reduction of 50%, whatever the case may be, value proposition. You came out afterwards and you gave a voucher of $50. And mark my words, there were some people in that audience that said, why would he do that? Why would you give up $50? And I'm thinking in my brain, God, man, the ROI on that is probably tenfold. Elaborate on that, please.
Oh, now you're giving away some of the secrets behind the clockwork here.
secret sauce.
We're open.
That's the point of the show, man.
So I'm happy to discuss it. So we have a marketing team. We have eight people in the marketing team. The first thing I teach them is that you are not the marketing team. The marketing team is the realtor out there, and you need to train them to be our marketing rep. So instead of having 8, we have 10,000. So by giving a coupon to the realtor, they can offer that to their client, and they look good, and they're our marketing rep now, which is why we do it. So we're happy to do that. As a matter of fact, we're happy to do whatever's needed to get the job done for people. And we keep adding to this. The cool thing about this COVID-19 is that we had time now to sit back and go, what can we do better now? So all the new transactions we have going forward, we do a free pest control when you guys move into your house. So we can do these simple things, which makes people's lives so much better, and we just keep adding to it. So the goal is to really extend the gap between us and anyone else, so it's a super no-brainer. And we're working on a couple other big ones. I don't know if you bringing them up, but that's the next thing.
Are you ready to make a big announcement? No. Next time.
Everyone get your notepads ready.
That's so true what you said. And Anthony, it's a good lesson for us, what they just said too.
Don't be afraid. I mean, we have so many, even inspectors or marketing, they're like, but we're discounting. There's, a whole nother science, and we can have another one of these on pricing, but that doesn't matter. It's really the lifetime value. And I think any realtor can relate to the lifetime value of a client between referrals and, another purchase. And this, if you have, they're buying and then they're listing with you, whatever it is. So there's a lot of more value to it than just that $50 discount, which is, irrelevant when it comes down to it.
It's a referral-based business. I mean, an appraisal, we had 2 appraisals that just came in low, and we're coming out of pocket, waiving lender fees. Seller's agent is actually bringing 1,000. Buyer's agent's contributing 1,000. That's being proactive and solving.
And that's your team right there.
That's it. I mean, that's that you want to scale. It's all about being, you don't want to be penny foolish, and you want to really focus on the long game. The long game is to make everyone happy. Win some, lose some, and you monetize your business. But that's what you guys do very well. We appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, so I don't think there's any more questions, but if they want to follow you, how do they find you?
We're on all handles, Max Home Inspections. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff. Feel free. We work 7 days a week. We do inspections Saturdays and Sundays. That's the only time that the tenant is letting us in. If that's, the end of their inspection period and they didn't listen to you when you said to call us 4 days ago, we'll be there for you. We make sure, we also do inspections, especially now with daylight saving time. Our last inspection slot's 6 o'clock in the afternoon because it's still daylight out. So, when everybody's getting home from work, that's not an issue at all. Feel free to give us a call, 954-866-8694. And yep, that's inspections with an I, not a no.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just fix that for me, will you?
If you go on our website, it happens all the time where you're busy. You can chat us online on our website. You can book online, or we answer the phone 24/7. We have someone at our office virtual office from 7:30 to 8 p.m. After that, we do have an additional call center that will answer the phone 24/7.
I fixed it.
Thanks.
All right, guys. So we're going to share their classes. If you are subscribe to our show, you will get some of the resources that they have. If you're not subscribed to our show and you're watching this live on Facebook, you need to be subscribed to get
mention your $50 coupon when you call.
Yes, for sure.
And you can download it right on our website. At the top, it says download $50 coupon, I think, or you go to the contact page, you can download it and print it out, give it to your clients. The whole point of the coupon is to make you look good. That's why it's there.
Awesome. We'll add that to our
The digital file.
Yeah, the digital stuff's the thing. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining. Our next damage control, Anthony, when is it?
Friday, I believe.
Yeah, we got one Friday. It's going to be great. We have a lineup. We're going to go live on our list of future events. The event link there to subscribe and get all the details is in the chat. We'll put it on Facebook as well. And I hope everyone has an amazing rest of their Monday. That's a wrap.
Make it a productive week,
guys.
This was super fun. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming. Thanks. Bye.
Bye, guys.